What you need a machine gun for? But they ain't gonna catch me slipping. Like Mo 3, rest in peace, that it got shot in broad daylight on the highway and they killed him. He was running from his car. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What is up? Hold on. Why in the hell, Tahir, why you send me this 4-minute video? 4-minute long video. You fired, man. Get on up out of here, man. Watch this, y'all.
So, Uncle Mike, what's the one thing we
hit
all
that subscribe
do that
button.
would change the world?
Hit the bell.
Everybody just help someone who has less than them. One day, somebody's gonna show real love back to you.
It's time to stop the hatred. We're bleeding from our pride. Arguing over words and the innocent die. Mothers crying nightly, babies still missing. Waters overflowing, leaders don't listen. We judge by the skin, never look in the glass. Blaming everybody else, never look in the past. When the day comes to meet God face to face, he gonna ask why we never learned to love in this place. Yeah. Charlie Kirk's gone, the streets still mourn. News flash heavy, another soul torn. And cats staying silent, don't mean he don't care. Maybe he's speaking to the family and not the glare. Social media fools. We think it's the truth, but healing starts offline in the booth and the youth. One big family, that's what we should be. But we trapped in division instead of unity. What's up? Everybody wanna feel love. Everybody wanna feel love. Everybody wants to feel love. Everybody wanna feel love. Everybody wanna feel love. See, everybody wants to feel love. Time to wake up, no more scrolling the live. Every headline talks it, every day a surprise. People posting anger, turning comments to war. But the real change starts when we walk out the door. Celebrities duck DNA, dodging the tests. While the people in the trenches can't get no rest. The poor fight the poor, while the rich make a plan. We all distracted, pointing fingers at our fellow man. Gunshots echo, just from words being spoken. Neighborhood shattered, another home broken. It's deeper than a hashtag, deeper than a trend. Time to change course before we all see the end. No more clout chasing, no more fake fame. Life ain't a filter, this ain't a game. God looking down, wonder why we divide when he made us all equal, standing side by side. Everybody wanna feel love. Everybody wanna feel love. Everybody got love. Everybody wants to feel love. Everybody wanna feel love.
Everybody wants to pass.
Everybody wanna feel love. See, everybody wants to feel love.
I mean, if everybody just helps someone who has less than them, one day somebody's gonna show real love back to you. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel love.
I'm trying to tell y'all little youngins, man. Positivity wins every time. Negativity lasts very short times. So, hey, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I don't care what you say, man. Go on in the comments, baby. I don't care what you say because I'm gonna let you know like this, man. I already been there. And I can't find the words. If these big people can't find the words, and when they do find the right words, they end up getting offed. Shout out to Charlie Kirk and all the other great speakers who were speaking in public and some sucker, some coward person come and shoot them. That situation, I'm not talking about what he was talking about. Some people, oh man, he was racist. He was not racist. And you open your ears and clean out the wax and listen to what he was saying and stop already being biased with a wall up. If you think this man was racist, you got a wall up, but yet you're ready to listen to Boosie and all the negativity that he's talking about in these hip hop and rap songs. Y'all better wake up, man. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's funny how this world work, man. And I'm 50-50 on the border, dog. I'm 50-50 on the border, man. I'm pissed off because of the more I get deeper into this, the more I realize that, damn, and I'm looking at my numbers. When you start preaching the truth, the numbers go down. You do clickbait and bull, the numbers go up like a mother. Why? People you don't want the truth. How the movie go, you can't handle the truth. But I'ma stand on truth. I can't do nothing else. Jesus Christ, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Here come another one. Whack 100. Lord have mercy. What is wrong? I know your mama didn't name you that. I know your mama didn't name you that. Now who's lying? Big homie CC or Whack 100? And then you got what's the boy name? Shoot. What's that Bama name that's in jail? Cause he gonna stay loyal to the streets. He ain't gonna snitch. Loose Cannon. That's his name. Loose Cannon. I like that name though. That's a cool name, I think. Loose Cannon. You know. Anyway, Loose Cannon. I don't know if he's still in jail in that because I ain't keeping up with the story at all. So believe that. But the only thing I do know is he's married. You are a married man and you in jail, standing truth to the streets. Your loyalty should be to your wife. At least that's what they have taught me. Maybe your loyalty, see, they've been taught different values than what we have been taught. Your loyalty is to the streets. Baby, you know I got to do some time. I got to go to jail. So you're like, wait, bye, honey. Well, I'll see you when you get back. Because I know your loyalty is not to me. It's to them streets.
Bullshit.
Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Whack 100 on Boosie's pleading guilty to a gun case. Claims someone snitched on him. Boy, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out. Shout out to Vlad TV on this one, y'all.
Well, my man Boosie took a plea deal for his gun charge. And the prosecutors are recommending 2 years.
Look at this.
Prosecutors recommending 2 years?
Yes.
Oh, he got love then.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of things about that, Vlad.
What do you mean?
I'm hearing that he really didn't want to take this plea deal, but he was kind of forced to take it to try to save somebody else from another situation.
Well, I'm not sure because just, I believe, yesterday, his son got caught with a machine gun.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is...
What the hell, man? Maybe I need to have some of these youngers on the I need to sit down and ask these people, what the hell? What you need a machine gun for? But they ain't gonna catch me slipping. Like Mo 3, rest in peace, that it got shot in broad daylight on the highway. And they killed him. He was running from his car. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
When his son got caught the first time, what I'm hearing, his son implemented Boosie. And what I'm hearing is Boosie agreed to take that plea deal, to take that off of his son, because if it hit him, then his documentation of his son doing something he should have did, that's his daddy, and then Boosie possibly getting some more time. So if they offered him 2 years, he doing all right. He gonna go to a little camp and he be home at 18, but it's probably a little less than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had an
15
ankle
months.
monitor at one point. He might get time served for the ankle monitor.
How long was he on the ankle monitor?
Close to a year.
Yeah, so he can get, you figure off 2 years with the halfway house. Shit, what he gonna do, 15 months, 12 months or something like that? So he might end up with just straight time served. They might
8
give him
months.
2 years. That's probably, is he not requesting home confinement?
I'm sure.
Because
he
if
is.
you give him 6 months, if you go to the halfway house, 6 months to the house, you know, that's damn near like home confinement. So if he had 12 months on an ankle monitor and they give him credit for that, that's a year off that, which got 8 months left. Yeah, I can see him giving him, letting him stay home. I can see that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the editors. Yeah, shout out to the editors.
He home in 4 or 5 months.
Look, me and Boosie, we talked about the situation. Now that he pled guilty, he's able to actually speak about it freely and so forth. I've always avoided talking about it ahead of time. But I think there's such an important lesson in what happened in that situation. Because essentially, what led up to him getting arrested was he was in San Diego. Someone paid him like, I think, $10,000 to do a video shoot.
You know I exposed the dude, right?
Who?
The dude that really got him arrested.
Well, that guy didn't really get him arrested.
Oh, he definitely got him arrested.
Okay, so here's what I heard.
That guy's a cooperant. We got his paperwork. Got 15.
Oh, so he called in and said Boosie's here with a gun?
No, listen. People, listen to me. The wiretap comes in form of a IG Live now.
Okay.
Think about it. Dude zoomed in on Boosie on that IG Live. Dude's already a cooperant with law enforcement.
Yeah, law enforcement was watching some of the guys at that IG Live.
They're watching a phone that's registered as one of their CIs, which gave them probable cause to pull Boosie over. Boosie in a black car. The driver good. Notice when they pulled him over, they snatched him out and searched. Boosie couldn't use illegal search and seizure, none of that, because that dude, we baited him on Clubhouse, got him on there, talked to him, got him nice and comfortable, and then I hit him with all this deal. I said, bro, you a cooperant. You got 15 of your homies indicted. This is the letter you wrote to the judge, tell him you couldn't go to court. This you, right? So that day on that, when you was on that phone, you still working. Think about it. It never came up on what gave them people probable cause to pull him out, right? It was the IG Live. Not just any IG Live. An IG Live that's tied to them. It's like their wiretap, that's our phone. And what we see on that phone is credible enough for us to use, right? To make an arrest, and that's what that was.
Damn. Wait a minute, let me see something. I was ready to do a new. What is this? This is, oh my God, these people. No, I ain't. I might use one of those. I was gonna use that. Oh, we did that. That should be gone. Oh man, did we do this one right here, which is the same one? All right. No, this is something different. My bad, y'all. God damn. This show is funny how white know a whole lot about what's going on with these snitches and all this type of stuff. And y'all should have sort of interviewed when he was looking at Loose Cannon while he was saying what happened with the Nipsey Hussle, and when he got shot, they got called and said that they just shot Nipsey and he wasn't even dead yet, and then about 20 minutes later he was dead. So all this stuff is wow, man. Anyway, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell.
Boosie has just been sentenced on firearm possession, and for the
this one right here, y'all need to check this out, man. So I don't know how.
Even after taking a plea, Boosie has just been sentenced on firearm possession, and for the first time, it feels like there's no coming back. But the sentence itself isn't the most shocking part. According to Boosie, he's being framed by the system.
The fact that I was sentenced to third offense marijuana, 10 years. I was sentenced to 10 years. The system been let me down.
Some say this all ties back to when he beat his death row case. Let me break it down. When keeping it real goes wrong, the streets are buzzing, the hood is in shock, and hip-hop just lost one of its realest soldiers, Torrence Ivy Hatch Jr. Better known to the culture as Boosie Badazz, just took a plea that might have him saying goodbye to the game forever.
It's just a plea that I'm doing on August 26th.
But real talk, to understand how we got here, we gotta go back to where it all started, the grimy streets of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where young Torrence first picked up that mic and started spitting bars about the struggle. Boosie's legal history has been marked by several encounters with the justice system, and that criminal record would come back to haunt him in ways he never imagined. The foundation of all this drama got laid back in 08, when what should have been just another day in the hood turned into the beginning of a nightmare that's still going strong. On October 22nd, 2008, Boosie was arrested by East Baton Rouge Sheriff's deputies after authorities found marijuana and a Glock handgun in his vehicle. Now, any street dude knows that getting caught with weed in a piece ain't nothing new, but this was Boosie's third strike with the marijuana, and that made all the difference in how the system was about to railroad him.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting.
I don't understand, man. So profiling must be a thing, because with the chains on, the haircut, tint on the windows, the way your car look, All this must play a part to the police pulling you over. But if Uncle Mike had guns in the car, illegal stuff in the car, dude, I'd be like a great grandma. I would have a station wagon. I would be dressed up like a nerd. Probably have the Holy Bible stickers all over the car, doing exactly the speed limit. I do 1 mile an hour under the speed limit. And I will be concentrating on staying in the middle of the lane. Because I'm allergic to jail, man. That's probably what my problem is. I wouldn't even have the stuff in the car. I would do 10 trips before I even go with the daggone illegals in the vehicle. Are y'all kidding me? And this has happened to him more than one time. Is that dumb? Man, get out of here. Here we go, y'all.
Probably 3 years now. Probably
3 years.
The young rapper, who was just starting to blow up in the dirty South hip-hop scene, found himself caught up in the prison industrial complex that's been destroying black men for generations. Boosie pleaded guilty to the third offense marijuana.
It sure is funny. I hate to keep stopping it, y'all, but it sure is funny how all these little youngins to be showing all that them wads of money online on video cameras. But that's part of the video. That's part of the music video, right? Show all that money. All that stuff come together with jail. So I think in today's world, they don't mind going to jail. It's part of your life. It's part of your legacy, I guess. Yeah, I did some jail time. Shoot, man, I ain't got time to be going in jail. I don't have time.
Fighting this thing from the very, very beginning.
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now, probably.
3 years.
The young rapper, who was just starting to blow up in the dirty South hip-hop scene, found himself caught up in the prison industrial complex that's been destroying black men for generations. Boosie pleaded guilty to the third offense marijuana possession charge on September 22nd, 2009. What happened next was some straight-up judicial fuckery. Judge Chip Moore initially hit him with a 2-year bid, but when they found out Boosie had violated his house arrest between the plea and sentencing, the judge doubled that shit to 4 years on November 9th, 2009.
Now it was a state case. The feds came, picked it up. They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor, and the case got dropped by the judge. The case got dropped.
But the system wasn't done trying to break this young black man from the projects. While he was already locked up, they decided to pile on even more charges that would keep him behind bars for damn near a decade. In 2011, while still behind bars, Boosie faced additional drug-related charges for attempting to smuggle drugs into prison. He pleaded guilty to these charges, which extended his sentence to 8 years. The rising star who had been making noise in the rap game suddenly found himself facing almost 10 years in the pen.
The fact that I was sentenced to third offense marijuana, 10 years? I was sentenced to 10 years. The system been let me down.
But the most serious shit was still coming. In what would become one of the most talked about murder cases in Louisiana's recent history, on June 17th, 2010, Boosie was indicted for the first-degree murder of Terry Boyd, who was killed in 2009. The prosecution was trying to paint the picture that Boosie had hired Michael Marlowe Mike Louting to handle his business, allegedly as part of some murder-for-hire plot over territory beef. The stakes couldn't have been higher. If they convicted him, he was looking at the death penalty.
I was sentenced to 10 for third offense marijuana.
Yeah.
How you know if I'm drug addict if you never send me to rehab? I was sent straight to the pen. How am I, you know if I'm a drug addict if you never offered me rehab?
The prosecutors were trying to paint Boosie as some cold-blooded killer, bullshit,
bullshit, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
They don't have to send you to no rehab. Where you hear that at? How you know I'm a drug addict if you don't even send me to rehab? Well, okay, so everybody got to go to rehab, including me, to find out if I'm a drug addict. I gotta go to rehab first to find out if I'm a drug addict? Is that what you saying? That don't make sense, man. I don't understand. No. Nobody said you was using drugs. You was selling them.
Couldn't have been higher. If they convicted him, he was looking at the death penalty.
I was sentenced to 10 for third offense marijuana.
Watch this. Third offense.
How you know if I'm drug addict if you never send me to rehab? I was sent straight to the pen. How am I, you know if I'm a drug addict if you never offered me rehab?
Just because you talk loud and sound like you serious about yourself. How you know I'm a drug addict if you ain't even send me the... Come on, man. And that's what people do. People take the truth and they know how to lie so well that they make the lie sound like it's the real thing, man. Golly. Come on, dog. You know damn well I'm a... Girl, I ain't gonna say that. I can't say that because there's too much sugar britches going around. You know damn well this ain't my house. This my mama house. This my mama house, man. This my mama house, man. Don't you play with me. Don't play with me, man. This is my mama house. That's what they were saying. They were saying this is my mother house.
Prosecutors were trying to paint Boosie as some cold-blooded killer, suggesting he might have been connected to at least 5 other bodies, though they never had enough evidence to actually charge him with those. The case became a circus, with prosecutors using everything from Boosie's rap lyrics to phone records as so-called evidence. Songs like 187 Inches and Body Bag, which he had recorded around the time Terry Boyd got killed, were being dissected line by line in the courtroom, with prosecutors claiming these weren't just bars, but actual confessions. Boosie entered a not guilty plea on June 28, 2010 in a Louisiana courtroom. His defense team went hard, arguing that the prosecution's whole case was built on the word of Michael Louding, whose testimony was shakier than a crack house in an earthquake. The defense was so confident they didn't even call witnesses. They just rested their case.
Hey, I gotta use that, but I hate to keep stopping it. Man, you shakier than a crack house. A crack, like a house with a bunch of cracks in it. Doing an earthquake. You know that house gonna be the first one to fall. Shakier than a crack house in an earthquake. That's corny humor that I like to use. Here we go. I ain't gonna stop it no more, I promise.
Prosecutors claiming these weren't just bars, but actual confessions. Boosie entered a not guilty plea on June 28, 2010 in a Louisiana courtroom. His defense team went hard, arguing that the prosecution's whole case was built on the word of Michael Louding, whose testimony was shakier than a crack house in an earthquake. The defense was so confident they didn't even call witnesses. They just rested their case, basically saying the prosecution had nothing solid. The tension in that Louisiana courtroom must have been thick as smoke in a trap house as 12 jurors deliberated on whether one of the South's most promising rap talents would live or die. The whole hip-hop community was holding its breath, knowing that a conviction wouldn't just end Boosie's career, but potentially his life. On May 11, 2012, a jury acquitted Boosie of the murder charge after less than 10 minutes of deliberation. That quick decision showed everybody what many already knew. The prosecution's case was weaker than watered-down liquor. The acquittal was a major W for Boosie and his people, but the damage was already done. Years of his prime had been stolen by the system. Even though he beat the murder rap, Boosie was still locked up on those drug charges. He finally got released on March 5th, 2014, after serving approximately 5 years of his 8-year sentence. His early release was probably due to good behavior and some legal maneuvering by his attorneys, but the experience had changed him forever. The young wild rapper who went in was now a hardened veteran who understood how the game really worked. Following his release, Boosie remained on parole until 2018, which meant he was still under the system's thumb with all kinds of restrictions and monitoring. But instead of being broken by what he'd been through, Boosie seemed hungrier than ever. He dove back into his music career like his life depended on it, dropping project after project and rebuilding his fan base. The comeback story became part of his legend. However, those old convictions were like a chain around his neck that he could never fully shake. Federal and state laws that stopped convicted felons from having straps would keep coming back to bite him. His status as a convicted felon from the 2011 drug conviction amplifies the severity of firearm-related charges, as federal law prohibits felons from possessing guns. The same script kept playing out in the years after his release. In 2019, Boosie was arrested in Noonan, Georgia during a traffic stop after a deputy observed a white Dodge Charger swerving and nearly sideswiping another vehicle. The familiar scene played out again. The officer smelled that sticky icky, searched the whip, and found drugs and a loaded gun. But it was what happened on May 6, 2023 in San Diego, California that would set everything in motion for the legal drama that's now threatening to take Boosie away from the streets and his family indefinitely. The rapper had traveled to America's finest city to shoot a video and perform at a club in the Gaslamp Quarter. Just another routine business trip that would turn into his biggest legal nightmare since beating that murder case over a decade earlier. Social media snitching and federal pressure. The sun was setting over San Diego's Choice View neighborhood on May 6, 2023, when what should have been just another day of grinding and getting money for Boosie Badazz turned into a federal case that would have the culture talking for years. The 42-year-old rapper from the Red Stick had rolled up to Southern California with big plans. He was supposed to shoot a video and perform that night at the Phantom Lounge and nightclub in the bougie Gaslamp Quarter, what the OG couldn't have. Predicted was that the boys in blue were already watching his every move, waiting for him to slip up. The irony of the whole situation situation was some real street shit. Boosie, who built his whole career on keeping it 100 with his fans and never switching up, was doing exactly what made him authentic, sharing his real-time experiences on social media. According to court documents, San Diego police, while monitoring an Instagram live stream of a known neighborhood Crip gang member, observed a man, later identified as Boosie, with a black handgun tucked into his waistband in a residential backyard. Real talk, in today's social media era, where rappers live their lives online for the fans, Boosie's natural instinct to show his followers what was really going on inadvertently gave the feds all the ammunition they needed to launch a major operation. The same transparency that made him beloved in the hood became the trap that caught him slipping. Using an airborne law enforcement unit, basically a police chopper, authorities tracked him to a black SUV. The level of resources they deployed for this bust was some serious overkill. Multiple units, helicopter surveillance, and coordinated tracking, all focused on a rapper who was just in town to make some money and connect with his West Coast fan base. When they finally made their move and pulled that traffic stop, the results were exactly what the boys were hoping for. The search revealed 2 loaded handguns in the vehicle, 1 Glock and 1 Hellcat, along with Boosie and another cat named Billy Johnson. Finding those pieces set off a whole chain reaction that would dominate the next phase of Boosie's life. At first, the situation looked manageable from where Boosie was sitting. He faced state charges, including possession of a firearm by a felon, concealed carry in a vehicle, possession of ammunition by a prohibited person, and being an unlisted owner of a registered firearm. His lawyer, Megan Blanco, had let him know he was prepared to cop a plea to the state charges, with expectations of getting probation instead of more time behind bars.
At first it was a state case. Your lawyers came in, the state case was dropped.
The strategy made sense from a street perspective. Boosie had learned from his previous legal battles that sometimes the smartest play is to take responsibility, work with the system, and keep it moving. His fans understood his situation, and there was real hope that this latest legal speed bump would get handled quickly and quietly. Then came the plot twist that nobody saw coming. On June 14th, 2023, the state charges were dismissed during a court appearance in San Diego County Superior Court. For a brief moment, it looked like Boosie had dodged another legal bullet. The relief must have been overwhelming. Another close call that he had somehow managed to navigate successfully. But that relief lasted about as long as a Newport in a crack house. Moments after the state charges were dismissed, federal agents arrested Boosie outside the San Diego courthouse on a federal charge of being a felon in possession of a firearm, based on the same May 6th incident. The ATF boys had taken over the case, citing federal laws that prohibit convicted felons from having straps. The shock of this development hit different. Boosie's attorneys, Megan Blanco and Damon Alamori, called the federal arrest very unusual, arguing it violated some Justice Department policy about not prosecuting the same cat twice for the same offense. They suggested that Boosie's outspokenness on social media and in his music about the criminal justice system might have influenced the federal pursuit.
They went appeal the Supreme Court ruling, and they won on the Supreme Court ruling. Now it was back again.
The emotional toll was written all over his face. Boosie expressed his frustration publicly, letting his people know this felt like straight harassment. He even took to social media to apologize to his children, writing, "I want to take this time to apologize to my kids. I am sorry and I love y'all forever." The thought of potentially doing federal time while his 9 kids watched from the sidelines was clearly eating him alive. Boosie pleaded not guilty to the federal charges and was initially detained, but on June 20th, 2023, a magistrate judge granted him bail on a $50,000 bond, later increased to $100,000. The conditions let him travel for shows, which provided some financial stability during this crazy period, but that federal case was hanging over his head like a storm cloud. For over a year, Boosie was living in legal purgatory, never knowing when the other shoe would drop. He kept touring, recording music, and maintaining his public image, but anybody close to him could see the stress was wearing him down. The uncertainty of potentially facing decades in federal prison was affecting every part of his life and career.
Could have appealed that, but that'll be 2-3 more years, and I'm just wasn't gonna go to trial with it,
Then came what looked like divine intervention. On July 12, 2024, U.S. District Judge Kathy Ann Benchavengo dismissed the federal firearm possession charge, citing a 9th Circuit Court of Appeals decision, United States v. Duarte, that found prohibiting nonviolent felons from owning guns unconstitutional under the Second Amendment. Since Boosie's prior convictions were for nonviolent drug offenses, his legal team successfully argued that he shouldn't be stripped of his gun rights based on this new precedent. The celebration was immediate and emotional. Boosie was crying tears of joy outside the courtroom, saying, "This situation made me see who was down with me and who wasn't. God had a different plan." He even posted a celebration video from the lazy river at San Diego's Sycuan Casino Resort, looking like he had finally put this chapter behind him once and for all. For cats who had followed Boosie's journey through decades of legal battles, this felt like the happy ending his story deserved. Here was a man who had survived the streets, beaten a murder charge, served his time, and was now being vindicated by the highest courts in the land. The redemption story seemed complete, but the federal prosecutors had other plans, and they weren't about to let this slide. The dismissal lasted less than 2 weeks before they came back swinging even harder. On July 19, 2024, U.S. Attorney Tara McGrath's office re-indicted Boosie on 2 counts. One for possession of a firearm by a felon in interstate commerce, and a new charge of knowingly possessing a firearm while using or addicted to a controlled substance. The re-indictment was seeking forfeiture of all firearms and ammunition involved. And if convicted on both charges, Boosie could face up to 25 years in federal prison.
I was celebrating, bro.
And we were celebrating too early.
I was celebrating.
The emotional whiplash was devastating. One minute, Boosie was celebrating his freedom and vindication. The next, he was facing even more serious charges than before. His reaction on social media was raw and unfiltered, showing the anger and frustration of someone who felt the system was deliberately trying to destroy him.
I got a call on the beach 3 weeks later with my family. Say they just indicted you again. They added a charge, say I was a drug addict.
I think they were trying to use one of my interviews to justify that over something that you were talking about from like 10 years ago.
The addition of the drug-related charge was particularly grimy, as Boosie questioned why it wasn't included in the initial indictment, calling the process a circus and alleging prosecutorial overreach. The timing felt deliberately cruel, to let him celebrate his freedom, only to snatch it away again, with even harsher potential consequences, seemed designed to break his spirit completely. This was the moment when Boosie Badazz realized this fight was bigger than him, bigger than his legal team, and potentially bigger than his ability to overcome through sheer determination and street smarts. The federal government had made it clear they weren't letting this case go, regardless of appellate court decisions or constitutional arguments, when the streets call it quits. By the summer of 2025, Boosie Badazz was a man fighting a war on multiple fronts, not just against the federal government, but against his own pride and the streets that raised him. The relentless legal pressure had worn him down like water on stone, affecting his spirit, his family, and his paper. For damn near 3 years, he'd been battling a case that kept evolving and getting worse every time he thought he'd found a way to beat it. The emotional and financial cost was becoming too much to bear. And the same cat who once declared he'd never fold was starting to realize that sometimes the realest thing you can do is know when to walk away from a fight you can't win.
Wasn't gonna go to trial with it, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna go to trial with it from the dump, actually, but I feel like this the right move for me. You know, I trust in God, Vlad, I mean.
The decision that would change everything didn't come from his high-powered attorneys or his street advisors. It came from the people who loved him most. In conversations that must have been heart-wrenching for everyone involved, Boosie's family helped him see what his pride had been preventing him from acknowledging, that sometimes the most gangster thing you can do is prioritize what matters most and live to fight another day.
I thought this case was over and I was going to get on with my life, but God don't make mistakes, and I'm tired of fighting. Talked to my family, and this is the right decision.
On August 4th, 2025, Boosie announced on X that he had accepted a plea deal in the federal gun case. The announcement sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community and his massive fan base. This was the same dude who had fought the system tooth and nail for decades, who had beaten a murder charge against impossible odds, who had proclaimed his innocence and his right to bear arms. Now he was throwing in the towel. But for those who really knew him, this wasn't surrender. It was strategic survival.
Stop asking for a fucking pardon. You taking your faith out. You taking your faith out of God. You ask God to put faith in a man.
His mother's wisdom couldn't be ignored in this decision.
Stop asking a man. Stop asking people. So, you know, I
right
trust
about
in
that?
God, man. I mean, my prize ain't I don't have no bad prize, I mean.
On August 26, 2025, Boosie formally pleaded guilty to 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm before a federal judge in San Diego. The courtroom scene was heavy with emotion, with Boosie's fiancé and family members there to support him through what might be one of the hardest moments of his life.
Now, Hatch, known as Boosie to his fans, now awaits sentencing. He's a father of 9 kids. His fiancé was with him in court today. So some background on this case.
The weight of his decision was evident in every word he spoke to reporters outside the courthouse.
So I just want to get it over with and, you know, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for him. I just need.
When the media pressed him about what he needed most from his supporters, his response was simple and showed his vulnerability.
Just say a prayer for him. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else. Yeah.
The charge carries a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison, though federal prosecutors agreed to drop the second firearm charge related to drug use and recommend a 2-year prison sentence as part of the plea agreement. The deal also includes a recommendation for 3 years of supervised release following any prison term, and prosecutors agreed not to seek additional financial penalties, citing Boosie's limited financial prospects. The details of the plea agreement revealed the interstate nature of the crime that triggered federal jurisdiction. Federal prosecutors disclosed that Boosie had purchased the Glock and Hellcat handguns in Georgia and transported them to San Diego via a Delta Airlines flight on the day of his arrest. This detail satisfied the interstate commerce element that made it a federal rather than state crime.
In the plea deal, that they throwing that out. I guess
they threw that out.
And Hatch currently lives in Atlanta. Now he faces a maximum of 15 years behind bars. His defense attorney did not disclose any parts of the plea agreement or any details about it, but the judge made it very clear today, regardless of what's in that plea agreement, it is the sentencing judge who will have the final say.
But for all the legal technicalities and plea negotiations, the human cost of this whole saga can't be measured in years or dollars. Boosie's attorney, Megan Blanco, emphasized the personal toll while expressing cautious optimism about the sentencing outcome. She highlighted Boosie's community involvement and charitable work, telling reporters, "I am optimistic for Mr. Hatch. He wanted nothing more than to accept responsibility and put this behind him. And now it's my job to make sure the court understands the scope of the case and what the case is really about."
And now it's my job to make sure the court understands the scope of the case and what the case is really about. And more importantly, all of the amazing things that Mr. Hatch has done for the community, continues to do, and the amazing things that he will do going forward.
The timing of the sentencing adds another layer of tragedy to this story. The sentencing hearing is scheduled for November 21st, 2025, which falls just days after Boosie's birthday. The 43-year-old father of 9 will learn his fate during what should be a time of celebration, instead facing the possibility of spending his prime years locked up in federal prison. Despite all the uncertainty, Boosie has continued to grind and perform while free on his $100,000 bond.
I'm gonna be at every show, of course.
He assured his fans, breaking down the timeline of federal court proceedings.
That ain't how I go in fed court. Once you take a plea, your sentencing ain't till 2-3 months after that, so.
Damn.
I'm gonna be.
The resilience he's shown throughout this ordeal is what real street soldiers are made of. Even while facing the possibility of years in the pen, he's maintained his performance schedule and continued pushing his music. His album Words of a Real One was released on August 1st, 2025, just days before his guilty plea, showing his commitment to his craft even in the darkest times. However, not everybody in the hip-hop community has shown love during this difficult period. The most vocal hater has been Charleston White, a controversial figure who's used Boosie's legal troubles as an opportunity for clout chasing and straight disrespect.
Greatest alive on top 5.
White taunted, referring to Boosie's claim to be among the greatest rappers of all time.
I hope they send you somewhere where they mistreat Boosie.
White's commentary continued, showing a level of cruelty that shocked even cats who were used to his provocative bullshit.
So God have to push you where you gonna serve him in jail?
Charleston White publicly expressed hope that Boosie would die in jail, demonstrating the personal beef that has developed between these two figures. But for every voice of hate, there have been countless more showing love and understanding for Boosie's situation. His decision to take the plea deal has been praised by many in the hip-hop community as a mature, strategic move that puts his family and long-term survival over ego and street pride.
It was up to the judge to give me credit for my anger monitoring. But it's up to God to get to that judge, man. You know, I mean, I'm ready for whatever, Vlad. Like I'm built like this, Vlad. Like I told you, you know, God want me free, gonna keep me free.
The philosophical acceptance in his voice during recent interviews shows a man who has found peace with his decision, even as uncertainty looms over his future.
I'll send my ass to jail. You know, that'd be calm. That's all that be.
No, I mean, you've done it before. I'm being honest.
Right.
This is not me in front of the camera. I've never seen a gun on the coffee table.
As November 21st, 2025 approaches, the whole hip-hop culture is holding its breath, waiting to learn the fate of one of its most authentic and resilient voices. U.S. District Judge Kathy Bensavengo will have the final say on whether Boosie receives the recommended 2-year sentence or something closer to the 15-year maximum.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever had a judge who I would say is fair. Judges always stuck it to me.
Do you think it's because this judge is in California as opposed to Louisiana? Because you've always had Louisiana judges, right?
Yeah.
The hope in his voice when talking about Judge Vince Vengo suggests he believes this might finally be the fair shake he's been looking for throughout his legal career. Whether November 21st, 2025 marks the end of Boosie Badazz's run in the streets or just another chapter in his incredible story of survival remains to be seen. What's certain is that his journey from the Baton Rouge projects to federal courtrooms in San Diego represents one of the most compelling narratives in modern hip-hop history. A story of raw talent, street credibility, tragedy, and ultimately, the human capacity to endure even when the odds are stacked against you. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.
Man, Lil Boosie, I don't know, man. What y'all think, man? I'm trying to see if this little Boosie thing is going to do what it do, baby. You know, my God, Lil Boosie and Charleston White, all this stuff, man. Look here. I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. I got some things to do, but he pleaded guilty, so they know. I mean, they know what they did. If you plead guilty, that means you know what you did. You did what you did that they saying you did. And now you trying to get less time. I'm just gonna plead guilty so I can hurry up and get home so I can do it again. Oh my God, man. We gotta change something, man, in our court system, y'all, for real. We got to change something in our streets, and we got to change something in our parenting. I think it starts way back to the parenting part. I think we need to really bring that belt back and spankings. I think y'all went wrong when y'all first was saying that parents can't hit their kids because they was going overboard. Parents can't go overboard on the kids. Yeah. Don't spank. I'm sorry, not beat. Don't spank your kids out of anger. Hey, y'all, take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out. Peace out.